Hello, everyone. John here, and welcome back to another session of ExpertGate's interview series, where we showcase change makers shaping the future across industries. Today, I'm honored to host Dr. Rebone Gcabo, a distinguished leader with expertise in behavioral research, economic psychology, tax policy, and customer experience. Dr. Cabo serves as the head of Taxpayer and Trader Education at the South African Revenue Service and is a professor of practice at the University of Johannesburg Business School. With over 20 years of impactful contributions and to governmental, financial, consultancy, and higher education sectors, Dr. Cabo has led innovative research initiatives in behavioral economics, team innovation, tax compliance, and the intersection of technology with customer experience. Her insights have shaped both academic thought and practical applications in digital engagement and taxpayer education. Dr. Cabo, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here today. Now, let's begin by delving into your professional journey. Could you share an overview of how you reached this stage in your career and what inspired you to specialize in your field?
Thank you for the introduction. What a beautiful way to start the conversation. This question allowed me to reflect a little bit about who I am and where I started. So I can simply say I started humbly as a health professional. And there I had this dream of becoming information manager or somebody who uses information that can solve South African problem or country problem or international problem. And at that point, I thought I needed more skill. So I went back to school to study psychology, to study research, to study practical application of data. And that's when I registered for Masters in Organizational Psychology, Economic Psychology, and Research Psychology. And at that point, I realized I had a passion to teach as well. Then I joined the university as a lecturer, both as a lecturer and a researcher. And when I realized I love research, I also loved to ask specific curious questions. For example, why do people pay tax? Why do people behave the way they do? Why do services don't matter for other people than other companies? And that really leapfrogged me to wanting to understand the tax behavior in the country. And hence, I started following economic psychology, behavioral psychology, and behavioral insights and behavioral economics. And then I went to Russia for the study school, where basically we used to do experiments to try to understand why people are not compliant with their taxes or do not want to comply, basically. And that helped me to even request or maybe to move to the tax authority to study tax or to do more research in the tax and compliance perspective. When I got to the organization, I also realized that there is a lot more to compliance than just be paying tax. I also realized that actually we need to provide more services to better compliance. So there's a lot more involved in that perspective. And I also realized that there's an important need for maximization of data in our organization for us to understand not only qualitative but also quantitative perspective. So that allowed me to study and finish my master's and also study my PhD. But when I did my PhD, I also noticed that organizations are behavioral as well. So behaviors are not only for other people, but also organizations. So I also studied organizational behavior to try to understand what makes organization tick, what makes organization perform the way they do, and how can we enhance the performance of such companies. And I now realize, okay, so maybe I can apply my knowledge in a business school. And hence I went and collaborated with business school for us to be able to apply the practical theories that we know to the organizations, but also practical application of the practice to the school or theory. So vice versa. So that allowed me to have a bigger spectrum of individual behavior, team behavior, organizational behavior, and also country behavior. So you can imagine wanting to immerse myself in understanding behavior from all levels of the society. And that allows me to have a clearer understanding of what makes the whole system, and I call it a system because it is like a normal cell, behave the way it does. And recently, I just got excited with the technology. As you know, technology is just
Yes.
something that is emerging. And I realized I also need to link it to the technology part. What makes us human in the midst of technology? I'll stop there for now.
That's what a journey. I mean, Dr. Garbo, your journey really showcases the power of, I guess, multidisciplinary expertise to drive, meaningful change from your time with research-based insights to finally, your innovative policy design, the real-world applications of it, right? As you were mentioning. And let's explore how your work really aligns with ExpertGate's goals of fostering innovation and social impact. I mean, now, what types of projects or collaborations are you most excited to explore through ExpertGate, particularly in behavioral research and technology-driven education?
100%. I think what it does, it allows me to have a 360 view of my career. If you think of it, from being an academic, from teaching, because I'm really passionate about teaching, to researching and collaborating with other researchers internationally in the area of behavioral insights, applying behavioral science, and also applying project management, applying psychology, applying customer experience type of research in the world of academia, and also providing curriculum in those areas. So I'm keenly interested in collaborative projects in the human machine interaction, also in the human technology interaction, and also what makes people to become human as we transition to technology. I'm also keenly interested in the area of leadership and AI. What makes a leader emerge as an AI leader? Or how are you preparing the world, especially organizations in South Africa, to become aware of what is coming, data literacy, and also AI literacy? Because without that, we might not be able to transition very well. So I'm at the point where I'm looking at an opportunity to try to link South African insights with international insights so that we can be able to transact in a manner that allows us to know the cultural differences, because it's not on one size fits all in all these environments. It allows us to start thinking around, okay, from Southern perspective, even though this perspective is European or in Australia or in America, in South Africa, it might be unique. Even the languages are unique. So it allows us to have a vast opportunity to study same topic, but in a different way, or to replicate the topic in a different way from a country level perspective.
Definitely. I mean, with AI, it's a tool, right? You have to embrace it at this point. And with the onset of technology, and it's so well put, AI leadership, and it's not a one size fits all. It's not like a cookie cutter, right? Every country is going to be a little bit different. The culture is going to be a little different, and how you employ that and how you apply that into your decision making process is going to be different, right? Now, your work, Dr. Garbo, it often intersects with communities and industries through taxpayer education and compliance research. Now, how do you see your work contributing towards creating a positive social impact?
Sure. So, as you know, communities are the bedrock of what we do. So we have a higher purpose as an organization to make sure that we promote tax morality, we promote compliance to allow our people to do the right thing, meaning to understand why they have to pay tax, why they have to be compliant, because it is for the whole country benefit. So my passion is helping the communities from cradle to grave, from the younger people to the elderly, to understand the contribution they might have to the bigger goal of the society. And that is more of a social pact or social impact, because it is through the tax money that we really improve the hospitals, we improve the roads, we provide education, we provide the necessary support to the country to become what it can be. And the people of our country need to understand that the contribution they have it is the one that will make them even better society going forward. So it is a collective approach, hence my interest in collaboration with the society. We collaborate to make sure that the higher purpose is achieved as a country. So that's why I'm keenly interested in text education, because it provides for morality, it provides for us to move in one direction and have one higher purpose.
Oh, I mean, when you say one direction, with morality and higher purpose and collaboration, this is the entire purpose of our platform, right? This is what we seek to do ourselves with different partnerships, and also associated with professors and academics and like yourself, Dr. Gapo. Now at ExpertGate, you know that we allocate 50% of all of our profits into developing curricula and teaching initiatives focused on Industry 5.0 for underprivileged communities worldwide. Now, how do
Sure.
you think we can enhance these efforts? Additionally, what roles do you think universities and industries can play in amplifying this impact?
Sure. So my understanding from a South African perspective, right? We have universities that are now making sure they align and collaborate with communities. And it's more of a social corporate responsibility. And what they do is they have got a section in their curriculum where the students are meshed with the society, or there's a common purpose with the society. And what I'm seeking to achieve with that is to collaborate with universities for that particular social pact with the university to try to develop programs that are impactful in the society. For example, in my case, we are
Yeah.
trying to have a way in which we can collaboratively with universities educate the students on their future role, because they're future taxpayers, right? So they are likely not to understand what is their role when they are getting ready to become taxpayer. And this becomes an important tool or approach where we say to the students, you are now becoming a next citizen, a tax-paying citizen. So we develop programs that helps them understand why they have to take tax, morality issues, the experience issue, and maybe collaboratively with the university provide research in the area of the type of education that we can have. For example, we can educate them on things like the tax products that we have in the organization, and also the fiscal and financial literacy that is required in the country, because tax is quite complex and we have to simplify it in such a way that the community understand. So we need to partner with students who are able to start teaching others on why tax is important. So that will be a key highlight for me. And also what is important is the skill set of research is also something that we need to broaden. It's a tool that will allow people to solve their own problems using research processes, or even data or machine learning or the data science processes. And in that way, have a pack that would allow us to solve country problems. So I'm seeking to collaborate with universities in that particular way to achieve social pack.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Kaba, now I'd like to focus on the last bit that you mentioned, with machine learning. Now, as the world really embraces Industry 5.0, how do you envision this transformation shaping the future of higher education, particularly in preparing students for a human-centered, AI-driven workforce?
Yeah. As a behaviorist, I mean, human-centered workforce is really my research area, where we now need to enable the student to help them and answer this one question: what makes you human? Even in the technology phase, we need to have that research done, or ability to help us understand what will remain if we really automate everything, what will remain of us for us to partner with technology. So the students might have to understand that these tools are made available to us, but they're not changing who we are. We still remain intellectually capable to partner and augment ourselves with the tools rather than make them us, or even compete with them. I can't compete with a machine. It's going to be as exponential as possible. But what I can do is to help my student to think differently. So we might have to train them on soft skills, the skills that will require them to augment or even to partner with machine. I see the future where machines are partnering with humans and humans bring even more value to the outputs that we now get. So the students might need to get ready, especially as they get to new employment, to help them, or even we need to train them on how to augment the machine. And what I also realized is the students are beginning to understand that the tools are there to help them be quicker, efficient, and productive. But it doesn't necessarily mean they need to leave their brains behind. So I always say these brains are there for a reason, and that's what is going to make us fun to live with. And the emotional parts, the senses that we have, will need to be explored further. And I think it is the beginning of understanding who really we are as humans. And this is the best opportunity.
Oh, what a way forward, to understand what makes us human, and not trying to replace us with AI, and understanding the importance of those soft skills that you mentioned. Really, the critical thinking
Yep.
more so important than anything else in the future, right? And because at the end of the day, the AI, it's a tool for us rather than a replacement for our brains, as you so lovely
Yep.
put it. Now, Dr. Gcabo, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and perspectives with us. Your work really exemplifies the fusion of academic rigor and practical innovation to address real-world challenges. Now, at ExpertGate, we're thrilled to have thought leaders like yourself contributing to global efforts in education, research, and policy advancements. Now, to our audience, thank you for tuning in. If you're looking to collaborate on innovative initiatives to learn more about ExpertGate's programs, visit us at expertgate.org. Stay connected for more conversations with changemakers like Dr. Gcabo at ExpertGate. For everyone, everywhere.
Thank you so much for the conversation.